Hello and welcome to another episode of the Sal Licata Show, available on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. So last week, if you listen to this podcast, Badabooms and I have been having some fun talking a little wrestling now and then. BT and I, when we were on the fan, we did it as well. I get into wrestling. I'm not huge into it right now, the current product, but I love the old stuff, like from 87 to about 92. I consider myself an expert, but I love talking to current WWE superstars. They're fun interviews. We had Seth Rollins on this podcast. Actually, he was our first guest. So now that it's the road to WrestleMania, after we talked a little Rumble, you get the road to WrestleMania coming up in April. We'll look forward to that. And you have Monday Night Raw returning to the world's most famous arena Monday, March 30th. It's back at the Garden, Monday Night Raw. I was there the last time, I'm pretty sure it was just not too long ago when Cena had his final match at Madison Square Garden. So I went to that. WWE takes great care of us. It was awesome to be there and see Cena, firsthand, that final match in Madison Square Garden. And even if you're not a huge fan of the current product, you get older, whatever, still, there is something special about wrestling and Madison Square Garden. Hogan Chic, 84. I mean, the beginning of Hulkamania, all the early pay-per-views that were there, SummerSlams and WrestleManias. So it's always special when wrestling comes back to the world's most famous arena. That is going to happen March 30th, Monday Night Raw, back at the Garden. And even though Damian Priest isn't on the card that night, he wrestles on SmackDown, doing some other stuff, and he's on the road to WrestleMania. We'll see where he ends up come WrestleMania time. He's a fun interview because he loves his Yankees, legitimate Yankee fan. And also, I want to have some fun with him. We did a special 6 with Sal, Badbunny best song. So Priest and I went back and forth with the 6 with Sal with that. We did this interview earlier in the week. We hope you enjoy it. Here's Damian Priest. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Sal Licata Show podcast. A very special episode today as we are joined by WWE superstar Damian Priest. We had Priest in studio when BT and I were back on the fan, not because of his wrestling prowess, although that was a big part of it, but mainly because he's a legitimate, die-hard New York Yankee fan. So I figured we'd have some fun with Priest ahead of the baseball season and talk some wrestling with him. And by the way, he'll be back in New York, maybe not on the card necessarily, but WWE coming back to New York on Monday night, March 30th, Raw. So we always look forward to that. I think I got to take Badabooms to that. Him and I will be out there checking things out. So we'll have some fun with that. But Damian, how you feeling here ahead of the big Yankee season with your team running it back?
I'm feeling good, man. I think we're going to surprise a lot of people. The pitching's way better. And if it wasn't for pitching last year, I think we would have even straight out won the division instead of just tied. So I'm looking for a better season this year, to be honest.
You're okay with the Yankees doing the same thing they did last year? You're okay with this offseason?
They have some improvements. I think everybody's just overlooking the improvements because they see a lot of the same names, as far as the lineup. No, I think with people coming back from injuries and a few upgrades in the pitching staff, it's definitely a better team.
Have you reached out to anybody on the ball club this year to give them the positive, hey, guys, let's go get him this year? Is it too early for that? Or where are you at with that, with your relationship with some of the Yanks?
I haven't reached out. I'm going to go to my first spring training game this Sunday, so maybe I'll chat in person with some of the fellas and be like, let's go get it,
Okay, and then you still have your season tickets for this year, or now will you travel and your schedule, has that changed, or where we at with the season tickets?
Nah, man, I still got them. I re-upped. My seats moved a little bit. I'm closer to behind home plate now. I'm upgrading. Those that's my single favorite investment that I've made since becoming a W superstar was getting Yankee season tickets.
Now look at you, and that's why I say you're a legit baseball fan, because a lot of WWE superstars, they just go when the free tickets come their way and they're on the house, and then that's it. But you're a legitimate Yankee fan and have been for a long time. All right, how about you and your WWE career right now? Are you happy with where you at? Where are you looking to go here moving forward with your WWE career?
What I've achieved in such a short time, I'm definitely proud and very happy, but never content. It's not one of those things that, I achieved this, I achieved that. I can just coast now. Obviously, we always want more. Last year, my body was banged up, and I worked a lot less, at least in ring. I was still traveling every week, but matches were down. This year, I'm looking to get back to the way I was a couple of years ago when I was a campeón and whatnot. So Um, hopefully, the company has my back on that, and then we start going full throttle again and bring back that Damian Priest El Campeon version, and see how it goes. But I'm very happy with everything, the way it's worked out, and I'm extremely fortunate, coming from where I came from, to be able to achieve the things that I have and live out this little boy's dream. So, hell yeah.
How difficult is it for you to be on the outside looking in when you're hurt like that or injured or can't perform to the level that you'd like to perform to?
It's the most frustrating thing. Like, I'm watching the product, and all I want to do is run in there and mix it up with the fellas. And especially now, we got all this new talent, and all these new possibilities and new matchups. So yeah, it was rough. I wasn't even in my best mindset, just because I just was miserable that I couldn't perform the way I wanted to on a regular basis like I had been previously. So it's definitely challenging, but it's one of those, like, you see the light on the other side, and you just got to keep working and get back to it, and you stay positive.
Is there something that you could do that maybe you wouldn't have the time to do if you were fully healthy and performing? Whether it's supporting somebody else, you seem to be a good glue guy in that WWE locker room, the party guy, all that stuff, leading the way for certain things. Was there something that being injured helped you do for others along the way?
Yeah, definitely. That was it. Being backstage and just helping, and just being there and inviting, especially the younger talent that needed advice. I was there for that. And even talent that's like that's been around. They're like, hey, did you watch that? What you think of this? What you think of that? And I think it was more that, being able to help on that side, and learn some of the backstage stuff. Just watching the producers, how they do their job, and things like that. I tried to pick up, and talking to like our writers, and seeing how they come up with ideas, and why we do what we do. Just trying to pick brains, and do that type of stuff, because I had time to really just watch, you know, and the one positive is that I got to enjoy the show a little bit. I was watching the matches and watching my friends perform, you know, before. Even though I could do that, you're still focused on what you're doing. So you're kind of watching with your mind a little blank, because you're thinking of something else. This time I was just focused on what I was watching, and I could enjoy it differently, with my friends and whatnot. So those are the good things that, unfortunately, from a negative, you can take away, and try to do something to keep your headspace a little bit more positive.
You mentioned the script writing and seeing what's going on behind the scenes maybe a little bit more. Are you a fan of the Unreal show on Netflix? I personally love it. I talked to Seth Rollins about this. He wasn't for it. What about you, Damian Priest? Are you into
Oh man,
Unreal?
that on the Unreal show, bro. No, uh, no, I that there's still always going to be a little old school with me. Look, the we've already seen the rabbit out of the hat, like, we get it, but I think just overly doing it, like, we're not making movies. There's a different, when you see the behind the scenes of how a movie was made, because that actor, or the performers in that movie, are already playing a different role by the time that comes out. We're still us. I'm still Damian Priest. Um, I just think it takes away a little of the lore, because since we are these characters all year round, um, I don't know. I feel like you lose a little bit of that. The way it makes you feel emotionally, you lose it a little bit when you see the other side. Now, even me just saying this out loud in an interview does the same. It's the same problem, but it is what it is. Like, we're in a different time, and I totally understand why we're doing it. There's just a part of me that's just a little old school, that doesn't care for it. Like, I've never watched it. I've never watched either season. It's just, I'd rather just watch what I see as a show, as a fan, than watch that and lose my interest in a character.
Interesting. So it seems to be that fans like me, I was like a fan like you back in the 80s and 90s to me. And then I just kind of, in and out over the years. But I would call myself a casual slash fringe fan at this particular point. But I loved Unreal. But the guys like you who are in the business, or even my producer, Badabooms, who's actually a huge wrestling fan currently, he doesn't like it either. So it seems to be like you're trying to draw the people more like me than the die-hard wrestling fans with the show Unreal, which reaches just a different target audience, I would guess.
Yeah, yeah. To your point, that's the whole point is to bring people in, and even the people who don't normally watch, or at least or don't watch full time, they could feel some type of bond with these personalities and understand the struggle and the grind and some of the craziness that goes on backstage. So like I said, I get it. I It's just not my cup of tea. I don't prefer it, but I get also how everything's changed with social media. I mean, even I have a documentary, right? Like there's so many things that out there now to kind of expose what's already been exposed, but now this is giving a little bit of different insight. Because now we're talking about like how a specific instance happened and the build to it. It's different. Like I said, it's just me. But if I was in your shoes, I probably would love it. Like if I was still just a
Yeah.
fan and not on this side of it now, I would probably be obsessed with it just in the sense of I need to know how, why, who, when, where, all of it, because it'd be interesting. Now, when you're on this side and you already know, it's kind of like, oh no, I don't want everybody else to know. You know,
Yeah. I
that's our secret.
I could see that. And you mentioned the documentary. I loved your documentary. It made me become a fan of you because I had a different understanding of you. So there's one thing like I could watch the matches and be like, okay, well, yeah, he's good in the ring, but maybe it wasn't my favorite style or personality, whatever. But I watched that documentary and I thought you were great. I loved it. The way
Thank
that
you.
you came up and the way you took accountability and grew yourself and, evolving and just changing a mindset. I thought that was very inspirational. One of the best documentaries that I've seen. So those things can change somebody's perspective.
Exactly, and thank you for that. But I'll be honest. I said no a lot of times to the documentary. They were like, dude, you have a great story. And I was like, absolutely not. I'm not here for that. I just want to entertain. I just want to, do that and get a reaction, an emotional reaction from our fans. And the way I was convinced, basically it was being told, look, your story might help somebody in a positive way. It could, really inspire somebody. And I was like, if I could help one person, I mean, how could you say no to that? And then that's how they convinced me. Basically, that's how they got me.
And it worked. Obviously, we're talking with Damian Priest here. Couple for me, and then I'm going to have Badabooms ask a question, and then I want to do a Six with Sal, Damian. We do a new segment here on the podcast called Six with Sal, where we draft, and you and I are going to draft the best Bad Bunny songs. One more with the Yankees, though. Do you have any road trips planned? Like, obviously, you're traveling with WWE. You look at the schedule when it comes out and be like, oh, the Yankees are going to be in whatever, Kansas City this day. I could go to that. Any road trips planned to see your
So
Yankees?
nothing planned because I don't know my full schedule. But I always look to see where I'm at when I do have my schedule, and then I look at the Yankee schedule because if there is something there, I'd love to go. I haven't really taken advantage of that much in the past. I think now I really want to just start looking into all these ballparks that I've always said, oh, it'd be cool to visit there, and I haven't really done that. So I think this season I'd really want to push that issue, that a little bit more where I want to start visiting, different ballparks in different cities and just enjoy the game. Because at the end of the day, like I am like a huge Yankee fan, but I love baseball. So it'd be cool to experience it, with different fan bases and whatnot. There's a few that I like. I'll probably stay away from that ballpark, but everywhere else I look forward to.
Like what, Toronto? You don't want to see the Yankees get pasted and you get razzed maybe by the Blue Jays fans or the Red
Yeah,
Sox? Which ballparks you stay away from?
yeah. I think yeah, right there. Houston is probably there too.
There you go. Good one.
uh,
All right, Bada Booms, you have questions here for Damian Priest? Go ahead, hop in there. He's such a mark. He can't help himself. Okay, go ahead, Bada Booms. Go ahead.
I mean, this guy's been killing me since you got in here, Priest. I appreciate you coming. I've been a fan since Punishment Martinez days and Ring of Honor, and I love the Jay White match. And so thank you for coming. You mentioned before about inspiring people, and I just want to say real quick, I can't let this go unnoticed. I heard you on Cody's show talking about how when you were doing the bouncing job and the bouncer job, I should say, bouncing, it might come off as something else. And that really inspired me. You were talking about how it was a goal to do this wrestling thing, and you just pushed the chips in the middle of the table. And I mean, similar to what I'm doing here with Sal, I kind of just was like, at some point I got to try. So I appreciate that. It definitely made a difference, at least for me. I want to
Thanks for
ask
saying
you,
that.
yeah, absolutely. I know my Yankee team is '09, so I really wanted to know, what is the Yankee team that you hold on to most, that you go back to, you love to reminisce on?
Ooh, wow, that's a rough one. I mean, the '98 it comes to mind right away. Uh, just that core four dynasty was kind of insane. That championship run that they had. I was like many locked in New York. It's hard to pick one, but that '09 team was special. Like, A-Rod is one of my all-time favorite players, so seeing him actually like help them win the World Series for me personally was super cool. I remember going to the parade that year after they won, just going crazy there in the streets in New York. So it's hard to just pick one because I've been fortunate to witness a lot of great teams, but I always go like the '98 one. Kind of always hits a little bit, just how special that team was.
You ever meet A-Rod?
Actually, no. We've come close to meeting so many times, and we just never. I've seen him in passing, but we've never actually met.
And I'll try to put in the good word for you. I don't know if you know this, Damian, but I was invited to his holiday party. So A-Rod and I are like this. It was legit his holiday party at his house. Surreal. Imagine like a baseball. I'm not even a Yankee fan, but I'm like, Alex Rodriguez talking shop with him.
You didn't go?
I know I did. You better believe I went.
Oh.
Yeah, come on.
Oh, okay.
You kidding me? I wouldn't miss anything for that. My wife had plans. It was her birthday plan. I don't care. I'm going to hang out with A-Rod for the night. Next year, maybe I'll take you as the +1 if you're around, if you're in town.
I appreciate it.
All right. So before we do the 6 with Sal here, which will be Bad Bunny favorite songs, you have any thoughts on the halftime performance from the Super Bowl?
So good. He has this ability, and this is all his concerts for everybody who doesn't know. He puts on, his thing is the show itself. It's not just the music. It's the whole vibe put together, and it starts with the scenery. Every concert he does, like the background and when you walk into a stadium or an arena, the first thing you do is look around because he has such cool stuff and just tradition and pride on display. And then the show itself and the choreography with the dancers and then all the surprise guests. I mean, that's his motto. Like, that's not just because it was the Super Bowl. He does this at every concert. He's unreal, that guy. And he never fails to entertain and make people feel better about choosing to watch and be there. It's awesome.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like, I wasn't a huge Bad Bunny fan before, but I wanted to watch it. And people are making it political. Forget politics. I don't get into that. I loved it. I didn't understand what he was saying, of course. I don't understand the language, but he was speaking my language with that performance. And music is something that I could feel. You feel it. And since then, I've been listening to a ton of different songs, which is why I want to do this draft with you. But I did also see on social media. Now, forgive me if I'm being worked here by you guys, but Jake Paul put out what I thought was an appalling tweet. And now you work with Logan Paul, who's a wrestler with you at WWE Superstar. You quoted him where he was backing the performance of Bad Bunny. Is there a work there? What's going on with that? And that had to be an awkward thing maybe in the locker room when you have Jake Paul speak out so vocally against Bad Bunny, where a lot of you guys worked with him as he was a wrestler as well with you guys in that locker room.
Well, Jake Paul doesn't work with us, number one. Well, you're not getting worked. I mean, at least unless I'm getting worked too, but I don't promote the negativity ever. You see my social media, I just don't do it. But I will praise the positivity, which is what I did with Logan. And Logan and I are not friends, but I can respect that was very kind to him to say when it's against his sibling, and praising somebody who publicly has had a situation with, and he does have a ginormous platform. So I thought it was nice. He didn't have to do it. He could have just stayed quiet and called his brother privately. The fact that he made that public, whether it was for clicks or likes, whatever, it doesn't matter. It still sent a positive message, and that I can support. And that's why I wanted to also publicly say thank you. But again, it's one of those things. Look, people are going to hate because it's humanity. It's not new. It's always been that way. It's always easier to do that than love, right? But one thing Buddy will not do is change how he tries to stay positive and represent and bring people together.
Okay. Love that answer. And I love talking Bad Bunny now with you. I've been obsessed with it since the Super Bowl here. So let's do a 6 with Sal draft. You could have the first pick. You're the guest. You have the honors. We're just picking what you think are your favorites or best songs. I have a list of mine. So go ahead. You are on the clock. Damian Priest, first pick of the 6 with Sal draft, Bad Bunny songs.
I'm gonna have to go with the one that I had to listen to in front of this Puerto Rico crowd and feel the ring shaking. Chambea. It hits, man. That one. If it plays anywhere, it gets you going.
Okay. So you Badabooms, make sure you keep track of this here. Now I'm you got to forgive me if I mispronounce some of these songs, but I have my list of songs I love. I'm going to go with the second pick. I'm going to go Titi Mi Pregunto. That's
Titi
the one
Me
that he
Pregunto.
started. Oh, dude. Yes.
That was my next pick.
Oh, see, I got you. I had to take that one off the board. I was hoping you didn't take any. There's one more that I need to have on my team. But Titi Mi Pregunto, that's how I say. That's my first pick right there. All right, you're back on the clock.
Such a good song. Nueva York, that hit, and now is it's like his theme now. I mean, if he ever comes back to WWE, I feel like that should be his new theme song. If he's gonna change it from Chambea, I love that song.
All right, so you have your two. I had that one on my list. I did not have Chambea on my list. I'm gonna go now. This one has special meaning to me. I didn't even realize it. Is it EO? It's spelled EOO. How do you say that? EO?
Yeah.
EO. Okay.
Yeah.
EO.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm getting. That is a banger, and not only is it a banger, it's also Juan Soto's walk-up song. Damian, the Met Juan Soto, who left the Yankees. So give me EO. I have Titi Mi Pregunto, and EO is my second pick. Your final pick, Damian, the Bad Bunny favorite song draft.
Oh man, there's a lot. So many songs, but I'm gonna go with Zafaera.
Okay.
I've seen him perform it live, and I'd seen the crowd go crazy. It's pretty cool.
Did you get the invite to the Super Bowl? You didn't make the cut for that one.
No, I didn't get the cut for that one.
I saw
watching it. I was like, I could have been in the bush.
Yeah, really. I mean, cozy up with Jessica Alba and a company. I mean, my God. I was thinking of it because somebody got invited last minute. I forget who he invited. There was somebody that maybe it was a former football player, whatever. Somebody got invited last minute. I was like, oh, I wonder if Damian got invited to that. All right. So my final pick. See, this is tough here. I love Te Deseo Lo Mejor. That's more of like
Te Deseo Lo Mejor. That's a great song.
I like that one, but I think I have to go Monaco. That's how I'd say that, right? I love it. He references Rocky Maivia, Rocky Balboa in that one. I just like the vibe of it. So I got the 3 that I wanted here. I had a list of 6. Nueva York was on there. You took that. I had Mia on there. I know that's like a popular whatever song, but Te Deseo Lo Mejor was on there. But I'm going Titi Mi Pregunto, EO, and Monaco. Those are my 3. Recap, Damian, what your 3 again?
Chambea, Nueva York, and Zafaera. And to throw a little one with an extra, that's because of the business, Booker T.
All right, there you go. Now we'll put this up and have people vote who they think has the better set list right there. All right, Damian Priest, you're the man. I appreciate the few minutes with us. Best of luck with everything, getting back in shape here. On top is stay healthy with WWE. We'll talk to you down the road.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Hi. Welcome to the Sal Licata Show. Hi. You know how he does that? Where he like gets all like, hi. None of that today, because there will be no Sal. There will be no stopping Badabooms either. A very unfortunate turn of events. It seems as if Sal and Damian Priest went out of their way to exclude me, very sadly, from the 6 with Sal this week. So I've decided to take matters into my own hands. And we're going to be doing the first ever 6. Wait for it. 6 without Sal. Now, for those who skip through when I come on the talk with Sal, my name is Badabooms, and I've been unfortunately cursed with the illness of being a New York Jet fan. So I have 6 moments here. You want to call them moments, you want to call them some of them are games, some of them are moments, some of them are just things that happen in the Jet world. I can't draft with myself. You know what I'm saying? That's like I tried to figure out like how are we going to do 6 without Sal? I need somebody else to draft. And Sal's not here to draft. Let's get some comments down below. What do you think about the chain? because I happen to like the chain. Sal doesn't like the chain, which is really a shame because I did spend my first paycheck from Sal. You remember that? You remember the whole thing where I bought just the microphone? So again, I do want to reiterate, this is my Jet fan. All right. So I understand you, the viewer, watching at home, potentially on your phone, potentially on your 65-inch flat screen TV. This does not include many painful Jet moments that you potentially have witnessed as a Jet fan watching at home. So, no fake spike, no AJ Dewey, no mud bowl. Number 6, I'm going butt fumble. And I was thinking about doing a slash, like seeing go slash this one. Nah, let's just go with this one here. The butt fumble. Being in elementary school, the butt fumble was much more impactful, considering that the fact that the New York Giant fans were all talking about championships. They were all wearing their shirts, their hats, their hoodies, Super Bowl champion New York Giants. My favorite football team, face ass. I wanted to say it was James Carpenter, but I could be wrong. There's a possibility that I am wrong. Am I going to look it up? No. But besides the point, he ran into the guy's ass. Was it the brick? Was it brick? Unsure. But he ran into the guy's ass. It definitely wasn't Brandon Shell, right? Because that's too early. I'm arguing with myself here at this point. Number 6 on the 6 without Sal. We're going butt fumble. Number 5 is painful in a different way because it was the first time that I had really followed a quarterback through the entire draft process, kind of made up my mind. And at the time, I didn't think the Jets were going to get Darnold. I was fully locked in on the idea that they were going to get Baker. Like I always say this, up until I got on the bus to go to school that day, because I was, taking the bus to go to school, the yellow, the yellow one. I was convinced that the Jets were drafting Baker Mayfield that day. Then I saw a report that it was consensus the Browns are now taking him. And if anybody else remembers, up to that, there was a little bit of wind. Potentially they could take Allen, not the Jets, that the Browns may take Allen. So it was kind of uncertain. It was unsure who would be there for the Jets. Not who they would take. It was kind of obvious that they were going to take. They didn't trade up with the Colts to take Saquon Barkley. All right, and they could have just stayed where they were if they're going to take Quentin Nelson. Which makes you feel good now that they built the O-line before drafting the quarterback. Like, they had no O-line then, and they sold their assets to get a quarterback. So I wasn't fully aware. I would say where maybe. I wasn't set on the fact that they were drafting Darnold or not. Besides that, they ended up drafting him, right? And now I feel as if I'm emotionally attached to Sam Darnold. Now I feel as if I have this otherworldly bond, no Diddy, relationship with Sam Darnold, and his success is the root and bane of my Reuben Bane of my existence. So that whether it be fighting with Giant fans that, I happen to see in everyday life, fighting with other fans who drafted their quarterback in that same draft, Sam Darnold's success now is my everyday worry and care, because this is the first time that I've ever been conscious watching a New York Jet quarterback play. Sam Darnold, in my mind, up to this point, has to succeed. There's no like ands, ifs, or buts about that. Like, he has to succeed. I remember, I think it was the Broncos game with the fake slide. Remember that Kenny Pickett Darnold did the fake slide. I believe it was Thursday Night Football. That game, it kind of hit me where I was like, I think the Broncos were dog that year. And I was like, something we should start losing. We should start tanking for Trevor, which, looking back on it is awful. Looking back on it is very painful. It makes this moment even worse. And now I will say it. Number 5, most painful moments of my Jet fandom, trading Sam Darnold. I was sold on it up to another certain point, which I'll mention later, that, hey, we're going to get rid of him. And then the day that it happened, it really hurt. The day I got the notification, it kind of felt like I reminisced a little bit, leave the memories alone. Leave the memories alone by Fuel. And it was painful because I thought about, the whole process, the mono, all that stuff. It started to hurt more. Today, it hurts even more. At the same time, I look back on it and I'm also happy for Darnold. Because you know what? Hey, Sam, you always deserved better than the lowly, lousy New York Jets. So congratulations, Sam Darnold. I've been nothing but a supporter and a defender of yours through and through, my king. Despite being okay with if the Jets had gotten Trevor. Don't want to talk about that. Looks like I will have to talk about that because that will be further down this list. This is 6 Without Sal. Number 4, Burger King foot lettuce.
Number 15, Burger King foot lettuce. The last thing you'd want in your Burger King burger is someone's foot fungus.
Hiring Adam Gase. This is another one of those days or moments. I guess it's a combination of everything on why this is so painful. There weren't too many. For some reason, I don't know. I could be wrong about this. If Matt Rule was in that class, I was infatuated with Matt Rule. Multiple times I wanted the Jets to get Matt Campbell. Something about him being able to build a culture. But I was kind of keying in at this point on, hey, Mike McCarthy, it's not sexy, but this guy's a proven winner. Let's just get somebody who's proven in there to help with Darnold. And when they hired Gase, from that exact moment, it was kind of like, well, this regime is done. It's all over. The NL East is over. That Jet regime was over effective immediately when they had hired Adam Gase. He's a joke. He's a geek. He's not a genius or a brilliant offensive mind, as somebody once coined him. To which I say may still be one of the biggest, it'll always be one of the biggest what ifs in New York Jet history. What if the Jets hired Mike McCarthy? That was number 4. Number 3, Week 17, Buffalo, January 2016. I'm not going to do the whole rundown here for this one. This one's pretty it tells the story itself. The week before, back at the end zone, the Jets win in overtime. If I did a 6 Without Sal top favorite, top most joyful, most pleasant, most happy Jet moments, I would fight myself if that's going to be one. Decker and he leaps and they win in overtime, and Matthew Slater, we want to kick or we want the wind, whatever he said. What I don't understand with this team is how there always has to be some ridiculous amount of build right before the worst thing ever happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can't just be bad thing happens. There's always got to be a ridiculous amount of build before the worst thing ever happens. Why can't the worst thing ever just happen without any build? Why can't it just smack you upside the head? Why does it always have to be this build? You know what I'm saying? Week 17, they go down there. They're in the game the entire time. Fitz throws 2 awful interceptions at the end. Somewhere in between, Kembrell Tompkins has the ball in his hands. He isn't able to confirm the catch. He drops it. I still see him twirling. He was one of my favorite players of all time. Darrelle Revis got his chain snatched that day by Sammy Watkins. It just awful. Just chain. Awful. I still think back to the pain of the pain, bro. The pain of that day, and they've never gotten close. They've never gotten close since then. That was 11 years ago. That was 11 years ago since that happened. They haven't even gotten close. The closest they've gotten, Mike White's child using his rib cage as a trampoline. That was the closest the Jets have got. Number 2, in the COVID season, as I mentioned before, we've all given up at this point on the Darnold Gase regime. Let's clear house. Let's start a new quarterback, new head coach, not a new general manager though, because we just got this one. Because we just hired this one. We actually fired the other one after he did all the drafting and the paying and all that and the Le'Veon Bell album. Do you know about the Le'Veon Bell album? Right? Do you have an experience with the Le'Veon Bell album? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're probably saying, Badabooms, what's the Le'Veon Bell album? Don't find out what the Le'Veon Bell album was. Because I listened to the Le'Veon Bell album as if he was going to announce in one of his songs that he was signing with the New York Jets. 6 years ago, or 6 years later, none of that mattered. None of that meant anything. Does paying running backs even matter? That Le'Veon Bell album won't answer any of those questions for you. So the Rams game, right? It was just kind of all set in stone that, hey, we're going to get this once in a lifetime talent, aren't we? And it was almost, we were so close to it that people started writing these, like, I don't want to say hit pieces, but it was kind of like these plea letters to Trevor Lawrence. Don't let the Jets ruin your career. Don't go. Trevor Lawrence, you're better off getting a farm. And he'd gotten engaged at the time. You're better off getting a farm, taking your wife to the farm and starting a life there than going to be the quarterback of the New York Jets. These like letters that they would write to him, like the Players Tribune. Please, Trevor Lawrence, please don't go to the New York Jets. Like, is it that fucking serious? Like, can we just get one of these guys? You know what I'm saying? Just one of them. Does it always have to be these like it just happened with Dante Moore? It happened like 15 minutes ago. Like not even that long ago. Oh, please, Dante Moore, save your professional football career. Don't play for the New York Jets. Like, imagine if he comes out and he's just absolute dog piss. And it's like, oh, remember when they wrote all those letters? They wrote those letters to Dante Moore. Don't ruin your career and go play for the Jets. Give me a break. And we're going to have to experience it this year, too, with Archie. And be, oh, Archie, please don't. Can we get to the end of the list already? The Rams game, you know what happened? They won. They beat the Rams. The Trevor Lawrence hope dead, effective immediately. They were clowning us. The Jags fans were clowning us. The Jags look like they're finally in the right spot here. It's not that I don't have the energy. It's that talking about this football team sucks the energy right out of me. The life right out of me. Number one. Do I have a drum roll sound drop in here? September 11th, 2023. The stage has once again been set. Because what are we talking about? The stage. It's always got to be a big build. You always got to set the stage here with this team. You can't just get hurt out of nowhere. You know, knock on wood. It's always got to be this big, grandiose build. This build, in fact, started in 2022. From the second the Jets were eliminated, you know, the Chris Shrevler Thursday night game and the Mike White and the rib cage and his kid. This build started the second the football season was over. January 2023 to September of 2023. It was all about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. And he comes out on the field, right? And he's waving Old Glory. And this is it. This is the moment. They're finally going to do it. They're finally going to get out of the cellar. They're finally going to be the bride. No longer the bridesmaid. They're going to get a statement win Monday Night Football, week 1 of the NFL season. They're going to beat Josh Allen, and it's off to the races. And from this moment on, nobody will stop the 2023-2024 New York Jets. They get this great stop on defense. I'm not sure if it was a 3 and out, but I remember DJ Reed batted that ball down, and it's the loudest I've ever heard MetLife. Like just a simultaneous like roar, like ah. And he comes out on the field, and here he is, our leader. There was a dude in front of us, I believe, who our leader. You know what I'm talking about? And he kept saying that every 5 seconds. This dude, our leader. Breece Hall rips off a big run. I think it was like 27 yards. And Rodgers steps back. Leonard Floyd off the edge. For some reason, I think we all do this as football fans. When you assume the play is dead, you kind of want to forget about it for a second. You kind of like want to put it out of your mind and just like, all right, on to the next play, on to the next drive. All right, this is a disaster, bro. Let's move on here. So for some reason, I just start, I look down. I'm looking at my phone or whatever because I assume the play is dead. I assume the drive is over. My brother's sitting next to me and he goes, he's down. And I go, that's a good one, bro. Just not today. Don't do that today. Don't try to clown on me. Don't try to get one over on me on this day. This day feels different. This day feels special. It feels like a coming of age for the New York Jets. It feels like all these curses and somebody check Namath's pulse today. because it feels like this curse might be broken today. And I stand up, I look down, and you can just see the cart, right? Because at this point, they've cleared the field. You could just see the cart like driving around the blue tent. And it's over. And just as it started, it ended. He tore his Achilles. I don't care that they won the game now. I don't care. You know, unkillable. It was great. I love that it juiced me up. Definitely. It definitely juiced me up. But that day, the hopelessly optimistic Jet fan in me, it died. It died. I don't think it'll honestly ever return to that level, because I figured that was when we were going to finally break through. Like it was over after that. Like, hey, maybe they just get to the playoffs, and we could say, hey, we went to the playoffs. I think this Rodgers thing, hey, we got to the AFC Championship. I think this Rodgers thing wasn't a failure. You know, it's hard to win a Super Bowl. It's hard to make the playoffs in the NFL. You know, are you aware of that? I am. I've never been conscious for a playoff game. Number 1, 6 without Sal. I'm going to read them over to you one more time here. Let me just pull it up right in front of me. 6, butt fumble. 5, the day the Darnold died. 4, hiring Adam Gase. 3, week 17 in Buffalo, January 2016. 2, the Rams game. And number 1, Aaron Rodgers. But this has been 6 without Sal.
That does it for another edition of the Sal Licata Show podcast. We appreciate you listening, watching, checking out on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Please rate, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. We appreciate it greatly. We'll see you next episode. Bye.